Welcome back to the channel. I'm James, a London-based photographer. I also run a small content agency, and I've been a dedicated Sony user for about 2 years. So I thought it would be interesting to share my perspective as a professional photographer, a dedicated Sony user, as to why this is my favorite camera. If you've stumbled onto this video, you've probably seen the specs about a million different times, and in all honesty, I don't think it's that important. I think that if you're shooting street and you know that it takes good images, then that should be more than enough. So we're not going to cover any of that in this video. Like I said, I've been a Sony shooter for 2 years, and when the X100 came out, I was so excited to go and pick it up. There was just something about it that I just wanted to test and try out. And it was kind of like a Leica, but for significantly less money. So let's kick things off. Firstly, I want to preface this with, I'm still a Sony user. I still use Sony every single time I do a commercial shoot. I'll use this if I want to play around and do kind of like test shoots, but I still use Sony. So if you're a fanboy of Fuji, then yeah, sorry. But I still absolutely love this. There's something so special about the X100V that has honestly changed the way how I take photos, how I think about photography. And there's two main reasons for that. Number one is that it's very limited, and that's a good thing. And number two is that it's small and it looks like a little retro cam. So let me explain those two things a bit more. Like I said, one of the most incredible things about this camera is that it is so limited. So hear me out on that. You get the camera out the box. It's a 35mm equivalent. Obviously you can screw on attachments and change the lens to, I think it's like a 28 or a 50. And so you might as well just stick with whatever you're already using, because this isn't a camera that you pick up as your first camera. This is like a photographer's camera. So I've just stuck to this as a 35mm, and it's really pushed me as a creative. I've had to climb on things, I've had to go under things, I've had to experiment in different ways, and it's really made photography so much more fun because it's more explorative. It pushes you to go and try new things rather than just pointing, shooting. Like, that was obviously fun. But when you're limited to just 35mm, you have to work. You need to get up close. You also need to get far back. You need to try get high, try get low, try to make those angles interesting. And the way how that pushes me has honestly changed my perspective and revolutionized how I take photos. And that is not me chatting shit. Like, genuinely, it has changed how I take photos. And in my opinion, if you want to get good at taking street photography, kind of just going about snapping, seeing things, there's a process you need to go through as a creative, which pushes you and changes the way how you think. It becomes almost like too easy to become reliant on your gear and not your mind and how you're thinking about photography. And that just makes you hungry for more gear, because that's how you see yourself progressing and taking new photos and better photos. Because I can stop down to 1.8, I can zoom in to 737mm. Wow, I take amazing photos. It's like playing Call of Duty with like an aimbot. But that doesn't make you a better, more skilled photographer, because you're just reliant on the kind of gimmicks that's associated with your camera. And I appreciate that I am giving a gear review on a camera, but this is so much more of a tool. This is like the testing ground, the playing ground. This actually makes you a better photographer. And to me, the X100V perfectly fills the void in my creative development, and it may even help you too. I'll be wandering along and I'll see a nice bit of light, and I'm thinking like, how do I compose that? How do I make a nice photo of that? And so I'm regularly out and about, stopping to take photos. I'm getting those creative reps, and I'm starting to see things more and more. And because I'm starting to see things more and more and see things differently, it then makes it even more satisfying and even more of a joy to use. At first, not gonna lie, I was not necessarily underwhelmed, but I was a bit like, I can't get these other photos. But quickly you start like, it sounds weird, but you start seeing in like 35mm, you start literally seeing as if you were the camera. I don't know about you, but personally, I love being able to run around and see a photo and then go take it, and then be able to like show people and be like, this moment actually happened. Look how beautiful that is. That to me is so like creatively satisfying. It's just you in your mind and you're playing and you're having fun, and that to me is like so, I love it. And so my second point, or point number 2, is that this thing is small and it doesn't look like a beast of a camera. Something that really annoys me with a lot of the new mirrorless cameras is that they are too small because they have fat lenses. And because this lens is absolutely tiny, I can hold my little finger underneath it and it feels comfortable. You try to do that with a Sony all day and your little pinky has had so much weight put through it because of fat lenses, your finger hurts. This is small and easy to hold, which is perfect. And when you're wandering around, people think you're just a tourist. People don't think that you're a serious photographer. So they'll just walk right in front of you. And that to me is perfect for street photography. When I'm out and about, I want to capture beautiful moments. I don't want anyone to change how they act because of me, because I'm holding up a stupidly big camera that makes people feel awkward and makes people feel like they're being papped. I want them to continue their day as if nothing had ever happened, as if I wasn't even there. And whether it's not even you, you see other people walking along like South Bank, for example, pointing their massive 70 to 200 like straight at people to try and get like these amazing photos with a London background. But that feels so invasive and people don't respond well to that. People will stop, people will kind of block their faces because they don't want to be involved. And imagine your hobby, your interest is having that effect on people. That isn't cool in my opinion, and that's why this camera is fantastic. And another benefit of it being absolutely tiny is that you can fit it into your big coat pockets with ease, which then means that you can like climb over railings, which means that you can get to those locations that is typically very difficult to do when you've got a huge camera. And so what's the TLDR here? The Fuji X100V has taken my photography to a whole new dimension. Because it's small, because it's limited, because it takes beautiful images while simultaneously looking so dope. This camera is just incredible. And if you're anything like me, that you just want to be a fantastic photographer, this camera is honestly a game changer. And I just love this camera to pieces. And I'm sure it's a very similar experience to the Leica Q2. I've never personally used one because I'm sadly not that baller. Because it's a small, very simple camera that just does one thing really well, it forces you to create within your limitations, which creates better things. This camera has honestly taught me so much. So if you're still watching this video and you are interested in the Fuji X100V, I would highly recommend it. Genuinely, get it. Thank you so much for watching so far. Please like this video if you found it interesting, and if you would like to have more Fuji X100 goodness put straight into your inbox, then please give us a little subscribe. And until next time, peace.